sixth installment, the zoo. Another one of those bosses that's just a bunch of animals put together, or enemies put together in a room that you have to kill, rather than an actual boss. But regardless, there are a couple ways to do this boss well. You gotta make sure you watch the bee and the boar, and make sure if he gets enraged, careful about his attacks, because those are deadly. The only way to effectively chain kill the Elder Rabby there, so the Elder Rabby, when he goes into his enraged mode, won't get hit stunned unless you perfect guard. So normally when you hit an enemy, smaller enemies, they'll get stunned, but the Elder Rabby doesn't, so he'll continue his attack. The only way to get through that is to P-guard and then attack him, and you can constantly do that and kill him in one go if you're good with his pattern enough. That fight is kind of hectic, so I'm going to sit here and try to explain it to you in simpler terms, or just, you know, a lot less cluttered. But you're going to want to go for the boar first. You're going to want to get the P-guards out of the boar as much as possible. You know, one way you can do it, if you're using like Whirl Lash, for example, you know, you can P-guard the boar and Whirl Lash all of the enemies around you, which will hit stun all of them, unless the Rabby's in enrage, and then you can, you know, move away. One thing you got to be careful of is if you use a skill, or let's say you P-guard the boar, or you P-guard one of the enemies in there, you have to watch that bee, because if that bee is coming for you, either during your skill or after you P-guard something else and you start to attack, he can hit you, and that can be a run killer. So you got to be careful there. You're gonna want to learn how to kill the boar here. It's pretty important that you learn how to deal with the boar. Hopefully you know how to deal with the bees at this point. If you haven't, check out my Beehive guide, boss fight guide, because that has some information on bees in there. And this boss is pretty hectic. It's really about paying attention to your surroundings and making sure you're watching everything. So it is a lot easier with magic. That was a pretty bad example because I got hit instantly. See, I wasn't watching myself as well as I should have been there, so I got hit, but... Oh, let me just try that again. It's definitely a lot easier with magic. Yeah, so if you want to make it easier on yourself, make it a little less risky. Get your, you know, your P-guard, and then run away. You'll be able to keep the effect of activating. Oh no, I didn't know he was charging there, but anyways, this is much easier with this. You can kind of just move around as you like. I would not recommend trying to hit stun him, the Elder Rabby, when you're using magic, because it's a lot more dangerous. So as you can see, this fight feels, at least for me, feels a lot less cluttered and easier when it's with magic. If you do it efficiently, you should do well. Chain Lightning is at a little bit of a disadvantage during this fight because of that chicken. That chicken attracts the Chain Lightning beam, which means that it takes some of the damage, even though it's not an actual aggressive enemy. So that kind of sucks for Chain Lightning, but it's not usually something that's too bad to deal with. Yeah, so for this fight, getting the double S time for magic, for example, because I haven't gotten it yet, is a little more difficult. It really depends on how well you handle the incoming waves of enemies. Also, where this chicken is placed and whether or not it's gonna steal your damage. Oh, you really gotta watch out for the boar there. You don't let yourself get stuck on the wall or in a corner when he's about to charge at you, because that's just gonna not end well. You definitely want to kill the boar and the bee as your top priorities when you're fighting this boss in magic or melee. It's just the best way to go about it, really. Oh, see, that was a really good example there. I managed to get the bee to attack me as I was P-guarding the boar. So I was able to show off. There we go. So I was able to show off. That was mainly just luck and what kind of helped me get the better clear time, but basically when the boar attacked me, I P-guarded it. The bee swooped down, and so my chain lightning hit the bee while it was swooping, and so I managed to kill it and didn't have to deal with it afterwards, which would have wasted my time. Well, if you're trying to double S it, depending on what skill you're using, it might be a little bit luck-based. It's a little bit luck-based if you're being a little bit less aggressive. If you're being super aggressive, but you're doing it efficiently, then you should be fine. Yeah, so when you're doing this, with magic, depending on where enemies are, this particular one I'm showing you, I was able to stay close to the enemies and chain lightning them right next to them because all the enemies were stunned by the boar, and I P-guarded the boar, shot my chain lightning, killed or did damage to and or killed the enemies. Then I ran away. Be careful with the Elder Rabbi. If you can get a perfect guard in the Elder Rabbi with magic, run away and then use your ability. That's a good way to get some extra damage in on him. Try and stay away from the chicken if you're using chain lightning. You don't want to waste your damage. If you're using Berserker, actually you can abuse the chicken as an enemy to give you EP. And now, if anybody just doesn't feel comfortable actually fighting the boss in that way, there is a way you can kill this boss without doing anything, and basically you're just going to be baiting the boar into charging and killing every other enemy. So you gotta, there you go, get the boar to charge at you. See, you just killed the slime, the Rabbi, and took the blue mode to half HP. So we're already halfway done with this room. This is basically if you don't care about, kill times or room times. You just want to beat the room. Maybe just guarantee you don't take damage. I mean, really, if you can't handle the Elder Rabbi by itself or with a bee, you can just continue to let the boar do all the work for you. It'll be really tedious and probably take a long time because, when he charges is kind of strange. I'm not really sure how it works myself, but see, he didn't decide to charge there. I don't really understand why. There you go. You're just going to have to be able to do that. You can use an attack here and there and do a little extra damage. You don't want to be sitting here all day, do you? But this is an effective way to just beat the boss without really doing anything. Since the boar does do a significant amount of damage. Now that the boar is by himself, he's with the bee, you can have him charge and then kill the bee while he's stunned and then just take on the boar. If you're doing melee, let him stun himself, go up to him, swipe a couple times, run away before he unstuns. If you're magic, you just shoot from a distance, but there you go. If you don't care about clear times, you just want to beat the room and the boss, you can just have the boar kill everything for you, and it's what I used to do when I wasn't as good as P-guarding and using my skills. But there you go. That's the Beehive boss with magic and melee.